So we have the undertone down. Let's talk about shaping and contouring and bronzing and blushing and what all of these things mean. Ultimately, it all is how we shape and direct the focus of our face. So we have our natural lines, we have our natural contours where our cheekbones are. And what we've already done is built up the color payoff by adding a little bit more of that foundation shade into the natural depths of our faces. This gives a very believable and organic shaping effect, if you can see. So, what's the difference between contouring, bronzing, and blush? So, your contour, by definition, is mimicking the shadows that a light would shine onto your face. And so, shadows are cool. Contours would be cool shades. Contouring is especially great when we're trying to create a dramatic change of the shape of the features of the face, especially from a distance. It can be done softly with intention and look very beautiful in real life. However, it does need to be used and blended properly, because when done improperly, it can be very noticeable. Very noticeable. And if you don't want it to be a distraction or lose the illusion of the contour when you move your face, well, then there are softer options like using the foundation and or using a bronzer. Now, bronzer is like a contour, but it leans more on the warm side. Now, recently, different brands and companies have been coming up with bronze tours or bronzer shades that can do both, as long as that shade is a little bit deeper than your natural skin tone or mimics your natural skin tone in a stronger coverage opacity, then you will be able to create that depth. So bronzers will add a little bit of warmth and also aid in the depth of bringing those towards in, sinking in those cheekbones. The choice is up to you and what looks natural to your skin, what fits your routine. But what did I want to say? So depending on your undertones, your natural undertones, for me, being on the yellow warm side, being of a warm undertone, bronzers naturally just look better for shaping or more natural on me because I'm not my skin tone is warm. So adding a bronzy, a tan warmth into the depths of my skin gives me a natural shade and definition, whereas somebody with a cool undertone, yes, they can still wear bronzers, but their bronzers may still be of a neutral undertone or taupey undertone that will still add the definition and a warmth that makes sense for their skin. So keep in mind your undertone. Do you want to go warm? Do you want to go cool? And then the depth of that color will add the depth and the definitions in your face. Use your hands to find the lines, find the light, and know exactly where to place those colors. We're going to keep it organic. We're going to follow what is already there. So now that leaves us at blush. The blush is the first kind of inorganic shade that we're going to be adding to our face. So it goes onto our cheeks, obviously. The blush meets the highlight, the foundation, and the bronzer. The blush is the middle ground of all of those shades. And again, it is the inorganic shade that is going to be new or introduced unless you are mimicking your natural blush shade. But here's the kicker. Because it is still inorganic, the placement of the blush does create a huge effect on the shape of the face, on how you reshape the face, how you direct the light on the face. So as a quick general rule, I like to use my hands and use the thumb to line up right underneath the eye, and then line this pointer finger up right into my cheekbones. And I can see that the blush belongs right in this Nike check mark area. That just do it. So we can form out our cheekbone. Now, the higher up, the closer in, we're gonna smooth in our face. The lower down onto the apples of our cheeks, we're gonna lift up our face. Don't overcomplicate it. You got this. Just what effect do you want it to have? Do you want to make your face a little slimmer? Do we have a round face? Do you want to lift the face? You want to make it look a little bit brighter? Do you want to just add into the contour and just lay it right on top? Try it out. If it don't work out, wash it off. It's just makeup. So for me, I have a bit of oval round face, so I like to keep my blush in the high of my cheekbone to aid and to continue into this lifting effect that I have. I add a little bit of more definition into my cheekbone. I have more definition in the outer corner of my eyes. I have definition all through here. And so adding my blush right in this space to meet all of this definition just makes sense. It just makes sense for me because it's moving in the direction that I want it to go. So I like also a soft blush. I don't want my blush to be the main attraction. I'm not a blush girl. I just want color on my face. If I was a blush girl, well then that's you. Do you. That's what's important to you. But because I know I like a little bit of something on the eyes, a little bit of something on the lips, I'm going to do a little bit of something on the cheeks. So let me go in and find the shade. Now this is a neutral blush tone. Again, my skin tone is very warm. And so because this undertone is neutral, it's still going to give a lifting effect. Not a lifting effect, kind of like a contouring effect. Wait, let me make it make sense. Actually, no. So yes, this looks very bright. And this is the airbrush shade, but this coral perfectly, it just really complements my warm undertones. I love oranges and corals on warm skin tones, but it does not have to be this bright. We're going to take just a little bit of this and we're going to buff it in over top, and I'm going to use the same brush that I have been using for my foundation and my highlight, my undertone. And I like using the same brush, especially for the blush, because the product that's left in the brush and on the palette will mix with the blush, give it a mix of what's natural of my skin, and it just helps it look a little bit more organic. So just a dab will do you. Just a dab, and I'm gonna drop a little bit more of my mixer. First, I'm gonna get my brush nice and saturated. Now, I don't want too much of that color, so I'm just working it a little bit and then just dabbing it off into a clean area. And we're just gonna touch. And I'm like hitting my face with the brush so I don't leave any hard lines of demarcation. I'm also holding the brush at the bottom, so it's very nice, free and loose. We're just bouncing. So there's the effect. Now you can see with and without the blush, this brightness, it just calls attention, right? And because it's drawing your attention to it, I just want to make sure that it's exactly where I want you to go. You know what I'm saying? And so we control the way we want to be seen. We control where I even want you to see, where I want you to see me, how I want you to see me. I got this. It's intentional. Moving back to the tip of the brush, just moving those lines of demarcation. And then also, I know the back of this brush, I didn't put product in, so I can flip the brush around and just soften out any extras. So here we go. we are shaped. You understand the difference between the contour, the bronzer, the blush, and just understanding that we place every color with intention to move the focus in the eyes exactly where we want them to see, and to enhance our features. Not just enhance it, to show it off, to celebrate, to honor, to love. I'm saying we're lifting, we're bright, we're loving. That's exactly, that's you, girl. That's how you are. That's what it is. So we're working with what's already given to us. We are leaning into it, honoring it by defining it and loving it, and lifting and adding shades that are organic and living in the skin already. So now we're gonna move over to the eyes. Now, as lazy as I am with everything else, I am especially lazy with the eyes. So I will always go for a cream, a pencil, something that I can swipe on and blend out over eyeshadows. Eyeshadows are when I'm feeling extra razzle and dazzly, but if I can blend it out with my fingers or just a single brush or keep it simple, then I will. And this right here by Danessa Marix, just love this line. If I could make makeup, well, if I had a makeup line, it would be very much like Danessa's. These cream colors can be used for so many different things, however you feel like you want to use it, and it's very simple to use. And of course, again, they're all silicone based, and when everything plays together, everything lays together very nicely. So I'm going to take a little bit of this. I've been using this in my kit on my clients for years now, and I will never, ever, ever let her go. I am going to pick a small fluffy brush because I'm going to blend this color all over my lid. Take a little bit from the back of my hand into the brush. Pat it over the eyelid where I want coverage. Just working my way around, allowing that brush to touch in my crease. I can feel my little crease bone, my orbital, opening my eye and looking straight so I can see what I'm doing or what it will look like when I'm done. So now with an open eye, just pressing this brush into my crease and using the dome of the brush, the fluff of the brush, to smooth out those lines of demarcation. I am just following the lines of my eyes, making sure that this lid color that I'm putting on can be seen. So again, a little bit on the brush, patting down the product where I want it to be, where I want the most product. This is where I'm going to lay down my initial, and I'm just patting it to spread it along my lid. And now that I feel that I'm getting close to my orbital bone, I open my eye so I can look straight, see what I'm doing, where this color is going, and pressing and blending this product up into my crease where I can feel the brush is sliding right inside of there. So blending it up and then using the side of the brush, the dome of the brush, while still pushed in, just leaning it up so it can blend that line. Don't want any lines of hard demarcation. Just want it nice and soft. And there we go. Now we have eyes on. Now, you want to look at your eyes and decide which direction we're going. What shape do we want to go? Everybody has different eye shapes, but if you understand the effect that you're going for, then you work within the lines that your face is giving you. So I want to continue moving and lifting all of my features up, but I also like the definition in my eyes to pull everything in. I'm going up and in. If your eyes are rounder and you enjoy that round face, well then that round eye, or you have really big eyes that you want to define and make pop, lean within that. If you have smaller eyes and you want to make them look wider, maybe we're not going to do a bunch of darkness underneath the eyes, or maybe you like it. Keep in mind what the effect that it is that you're going for to create it, to lean into it. So I'm going to add a little bit of this brown. I don't think you can do it without making the face. I don't know if it's possible. So now that it's softly blended on, I'm going to take a little bit more of this product and I'm going to do just like I did with my cheekbones, and I'm just going to build this color up a little bit darker in the depths of my eyes where I want to contour, which is going to be the outer corners. And I'm allowing this brush to just sink into underneath my orbital bone and blend it out. This is how you allow the brush to do its job. When the shape and the size meets the function that you want it to do, then the brush will do all of the work for you. You just got to push it where you need it. Now, with a little bit that's left on the brush, I'm just going to go in and define. This is just my favorite. I just love to define my eyes like this. This is an important part for me. I enjoy when my eyes look like this, so I'm going to do it. I like to call this a special space, especially when we want to slim our nose. Drawing the eyes together through the brows, blending it up into the brow hairs, which is also why I haven't done my brows yet, makes the inorganic shades that we're adding to the eyes look more underneath the skin, more lived in, and so putting it underneath the eyebrows and blending it into the nose helps it to look more real and lived in. And also, of course, I can always come back with a little bit of my foundation and blend over it to just soften it up a little bit more. But this is on. So after this, we're gonna do a little bit of eyeliner. Oh, this is not my eyeliner. Now for a little bit of eyeliner, I always go for a pencil. I love pencils. Again, they are the easiest way to get it on. If you love a very dark black eyeliner or very rich eyeliner, you can even go with a gel. You can get another one of these and apply it with a brush. Again, choose whatever works best for you, but I don't think you can beat a mechanical pencil for being faster and easier in most situations. This one in particular is CoverGirl. I don't try a lot of different ones. I've always been a CoverGirl, so I stick with what works. So when we're adding definition or adding eyeliner, again, this is like contouring for the face. This is going to be the deepest, darkest color that we're going to put on our eyes, and it's definitely unnatural. So we want to move it and use it in a way that encourages or goes with the lines that we are creating on the face. So I want my eyes to look open and out. So we're going to start in this outer corner, just moving it in the right direction. So now I have a little bit of a guideline going in the right direction. I'm not particular about wings. Wings are not important to me. If they are important to you, then you got to make the time to do that wing liner because it just takes time. You got to get it perfect. And for a quick everyday look, I'm not going for perfection. So again, I'm going to use this pencil because I can smudge it. I don't need straight lines. I just need it to be there. So we got the lift, and now we're just getting it on there. This even has a little nifty smudger at the bottom. There we go. Did we say that perfection was necessary or even required? Because if you heard it, you made it up, because that's not what we're going for. That's not what we're going for. We're going for on and for the effect. And honestly, I feel like a little bit of imperfection makes it better. I just like it. I like a little bit of organic, of imperfection. It makes it look more real. It makes it look like you tried, but you care, but you don't care. You don't care too much. Of course, you don't want to. Let me just get this on. So, liner's on. It's on. It's just on. It's on. We got an effect. It's on there. Now, I do love mascara. So, we're going to do a coat or two. Just really wiggling it in. Mascara is a place where we have a really big opportunity for mess. So you can either, well, just try to be careful, but also you can either lean into it and use it, or fight it. And quite frankly, we don't have time to fight it. So try it and not get it on your lid, of course. But if you get too close to the base, well then blend it in and call it eyeliner. If it doesn't look good, get a Q-tip and wipe it off. It's just makeup. Clean up if we need to. I think we did okay this time. And she's in. She's there. We're on there. We got some definition. We got some shadow. We got some lashes. And again, when we're not wearing actual strip lashes, you don't want to overdo it on the eyeliner so that you don't see your mascara. So keep the eyeliner light or thin, or even do the eyeliner after you do your mascara. Again, we're working in levels of importance. If you want to see your lashes, you can't have too much eyeliner. So, we're at this point, let's go ahead and put on some eyebrows. And when it comes to eyebrows, again, we're moving fast. I don't want to spend too much time on them. I want them looking soft and natural. So I'm going to go in with another pencil. Bonus points for having a brush and a very fine end. If you have thick eyebrows or eyebrows that do not want to listen and do what you say do, you may want to opt for a brow gel. Hairspray and actual hair gel work well as well. Some people use soap. That can work, but it doesn't have to be complicated. So lay down your hair, brush them, and of course groomed eyebrows are easier to work with, but I don't think that there is a tool that I like better than just a regular mechanical pencil. And again, this is CoverGirl. I love CoverGirl. Now I only have a taste left on this eyebrow pencil, but we're gonna make it stretch. When we're going in and we're defining our eyebrows, I always do it in this particular way. I start 1/3 in and define through the arch in soft strokes, applying more pressure as we get to the end. The harder you push, the more color payoff you're gonna get. And we want our eyebrows to be darker in the outer corners and in the base at the bottom of the brow. This is where we want it to be the darkest, right? Now I come to the arch, the final third of the eyebrow, and define that out too. Now that I have the wing, I'm going to go ahead and just fill in this back piece, and I'm working in strokes, light strokes. Where you have bald spots, where you have inner areas, you're going to want to use more pressure to get more color payoff to fill in that area a little bit more. If it's hairier, if you're just going for, if you have more hair there, then lighter strokes can go in and fill in the spaces that are already there. So first you go in and you fill in the areas that need more coverage towards the back and your problem areas, and then as we work forward, we start at the bottom and just work in light strokes from back to front. As you get to the front of the eyebrow, even softer, lighter strokes in the direction of the natural hair. And then we have our eyebrow. We have an eyebrow. Keeping it simple, and I still have a little taste of pencil left, so let's see. Here we go. Brows. I don't think anything gets easier than a pencil. However, if you do need a little bit more coverage in your eyebrows, you can go for a pomade. If you have very thick, bushy, lovely brows and you want a little bit less and maybe less color, more grooming, you can go for a brow mascara with or without color. Find your groove, find your thing, find what works good for you. Many combine multiples, so you can use a pencil and a brow mascara. You can use a pomade and a pencil. It has to just fit what works for you. If you have less eyebrow to work with and you need a little bit more help with the guide of the shape, of course, having a trusted brow stylist is extremely helpful. But if not, there are stencils, eyebrow stencils that you can use to help you find the shape. You can mark out the stencil with maybe a little bit of pomade, maybe a little bit of powder, and then remove the stencil and then go in and perfect the shape. It's my personal preference, maybe not personal, I don't like doing the eyebrows first, and I don't prefer carving out the eyebrows with concealer. Because when they're done first, they just cannot be incorporated in with the rest of the makeup. I can't lay down my foundations, my highlights, my contours without blending over the eyebrows. And also, I don't like carving out the eyebrows because too harsh or too hard of a line on the brow does look unnatural. As well as you can end up putting organic colors in inorganic places. Like the brightness can spread a little bit too far. It can be a little bit too strong under the brow. I may blend out my definition around the edge of my brows. And also, as you can see, I have very little space between my eyebrows and my hairline, which is a mess waiting to happen. But all in all, doing the eyebrows last or on top of the shape and the skin work that has been laid down gives them the opportunity to look softer and more organic, which is, again, my preference. If you love a good, strong brow, then baby, do it. Baby, do it. Again, it's about prioritizing what makes sense for you and your face and your look and what you like and what voice how you want to be perceived. And so a strong brow can communicate having very strong views, being very self-confident and strong in your personality, and also not taking no mess. Have you ever seen with the strong brow? I'm thinking of Frida, the artist. She didn't take no mess. She stood up and she loved it. So if that's your future that you want to accentuate, if that's the message that you want to send, again, lean into it, do it, find what works best for you. And for me, the last thing is going to be the lips. So with this look, with this base look, I can do really whatever I want with the lips. I can do natural, I can do a red, I can do a deep dark color. I like this routine. I fall into this routine because it feels good and I can go wherever I want to with it. And also, I always love a smoky eye. I feel like there's never a wrong opportunity for a smoky eye in just one shade. Come on. So I'm going to start with just a lip gloss. Really, this is the pink lip gloss that I pretty much have on already. And it's the look. We can add a bit of lip liner. This is a neutral shade that I probably should have sharpened first. Oh, that's too bright. Oh, I don't like it. No. So you see, it's immediate. Something does not feel right. The skin is warm. The blush is warm. The eyes is warm. It draws too much attention. Excuse me. Hello. Why is this off? It's because this is cool. This is a cool pink and everything else is warm. So let's try this again. Let's try this again. If I wait, where's my lip gloss? So I'm gonna go with this shade, but I don't want a full-on red lip, so we're just gonna touch it. This is a deeper berry shade, but she's warmer. Gloss today. Sometimes you just need some lip gloss. Gloss makes almost everything better. So this is generally my lip. One thing that I haven't done, because I don't have to, but I am going to do for you, is put on powder. Now, the last step and putting on most cream or liquid foundations, be putting on something dry to settle it all down. The powder soaks up excessive oils, and the pigment in the powder helps to amplify the color that's already laid down. So if you're going to put on a colored powder, that color payoff is either going to complement the shades that are already underneath it, correct it, or work with it. A translucent shade should be clear translucent. However, most of the times they do leave a little bit of a white cast, so keep in mind the additional brightness that it will add to the foundation or to the base colors that are already on your face. But a good setting powder will go in and settle down any shininess. It'll help you stay matte in your targeted areas, and overall just blend the entire face together. So one of my favorite powders, an OG, is going to be the Laura Mercier translucent powder. I like the translucent powder on my shade, on my skin tone and up, and they also came out with a darker shade that is beautiful for deeper skin tones. So I do very much enjoy these powders. And for the color powders, I have Danessa Maverick's different shades from her that are just as well light and beautiful, and the shade range within those meant so many different undertones and skin tones. So these individually or together can be used, but for a quick everyday your signature look, a loose powder can be a little bit of extra work. So using a pressed translucent or a pressed powder will just help you move a little bit faster and will allow you to keep it with you throughout the day for touch-ups. But again, I likes what I like. So I'm going to go in with a bigger, fluffier brush. This brush is also a little flat, which helps me to lay down the powder exactly where I want. So I'm going to take a little bit of this powder into the brush. I'm going to tap it and work it into the brush from the top. Just wiggle it all around, flip it over, tap it down, flip it over, tap it out. Now we're good and worked in. And I'm going to hit the main points of my face first, the center points where I need the most oil coverage, and then work my way out, pressing it in. And now that I have the product pressed in the center of my face, we're gonna loosen up and just buff all the way around, all the way around. So there we go, we're set. Now, as our fail-proof, our final set, our lock it in, my love joy, we're gonna go in with a setting spray. Now, our setting spray is going to be the sister to our primer spray. This is the Scandinavia. This one in particular is the bridal finishing spray because, well, I work with brides, and the one that's made for bridal is, we're talking heavy duty. But also the main thing, or the main reason why I would like to use a liquid setting spray over top of any translucent powder or any powder in general is because the liquid will melt down that powder and everything will just get to live and morph and love into each other. And this is one. Get that all nice and over out of my mouth, and we're gonna just dry it down. So there we have it. This is my signature look. This is the steps that I go through to put it together and the things that you want to think about when you're picking out the products to go into your signature look. And now that we've gotten this together, the program or the process can become super easy to execute. You go from maybe like, or 30-45 minutes routine, but as you get comfortable with putting it on and applying it, a full face like this can take 10 to 15, especially when, or less than 10 to 15 really, you can get it done a much faster because you're not thinking through what to use. There's no questions. You have your tools, you get it on, and you just move through it. So it gets easier and faster to do as you go on. So now that we're here, let's move on to what's next. How do we add some razzle and dazzle? How do we take it up? What about when I want to be extra? What about when you want to be extra? Again, first we gotta figure out what extra means to you. Is it eyes? Is it eyelashes? Is it glitter? Are you a bold lip girl? Do you want more contour? Figure that out. And then again, we're gonna prioritize that. So me, I like a little bit more in the eyes, a little bit more on the lips. So I'm gonna go add some definition and some sparkle. First thing I'm gonna do, so we're gonna get into some eyeshadows. I'm gonna go and find a shade in one of my palettes that will look perfect on me, and a tiny brush that will fit directly into my crease to start defining out my eyes. So I'm gonna take this deep blue shade for some definition, and I'm already wearing blue, and start working that in. And y'all, I did not pre-plan this look. We're going with the flow. So with the dramatics, I want to start with adding more definition. So immediately working over the depths and the creases of my eyes. And whenever we're doing eyeshadow, and you want to be very gentle and careful not to get this eyeshadow everywhere to mess up the work that you've already done. So you can always lay down a little bit of extra powder to catch any fallen eyeshadow, or you can use a little tissue paper to hold underneath and blend. There we go. So now I have a little bit of more definition. I'm gonna go just to a lighter shade of blue that's right next to it and just soften that line of demarcation as it goes into the brown that's already on my lid. And then we're gonna bring this a little bit higher up into the crease. So everything I'm doing is defining out that line, is defining out the shape, and softening the transition in between the effect that I'm making and what's natural. And it's important to remember to keep your eyes open and to try to look straight into the mirror to start building and seeing the difference. So here we are. We have that color on. I'm gonna add a little bit more of the same shade, just make it more dramatic. And some more mascara. So now that I have a little bit more eye on, I have this lip on, I can look and I can say, my eyes are getting a little bit lost. Now, I do want you to keep in mind that I'm not wearing my glasses and I absolutely cannot see much further than my hand in front of my face. So I do have a little bit of a superpower that I like to consider it as blending happening already in my eyes. Because I can't see clearly, I can see the colors and the shapes and the values a little bit more, and so I feel imbalanced where my eyes are dark, my lips are bold, but my actual colors of my eyes is getting lost. The whites of my eyes looks a little bit small, so I need more to balance out this effect that I've created in my outer corner to lift and open my eyes to brighten the heaviness that I've added to the corners of my eyes and the darkness, balance the darkness that I have on my lips. So a good lash that can lift and accentuate this shape, especially around, versus a cat eyelash that's lighter, that's longer in the outer corner, because it's already darker here. So if I go with a cat eyelash, is going to go with the shape and it's not going to change the effect that I want. But if I go with a rounder lash that's a little bit longer in the middle, it's going to lift the center of my eyes up and give me more of an open effect. See what I'm saying? So let me go find some eyelashes. One thing you really want to check for when you are lining up your eyelashes and trimming them and making sure that they fit and they actually look good on your face is to check the tail end. If the end of the eyelash starts to curve down or sag, it's just going to ruin the whole illusion that you're trying to create with your eyes. So if it's just a tiny bit too long, then it can really throw off your shape. And I find this mostly with wink eyelashes or like 3D lashes. They tend to be a lot longer. So if you put it on and you see that you have a little sag or they feel a little heavy, trim them. Don't save them, trim it, don't save it. So